All right, let's look at angles at a point. Well, one of the rules in geometry is angles at a point add to 360 degrees. So if you've got a whole bunch of angles all round a single point, these will all add to 360. So you could express this, for example, as all of these add to 360. In other words, you could write this differently. You could say that x, in this case I'll write x, is equal to 360 minus the other bits that are there. And what are the other bits? Well, we've got x here, but what about these bits here? So I've got the 17, a 17, and 80. So I could say I've got two lots of 70 and plus an 80. So I've got 70 plus 70 plus 80. And that would be a reasonable way of expressing that. So x is going to be equal to, oh, that's not like looks like a backward C and a forward C, or sort of added together. So x is equal to, and of course over here it says 360 minus 220, which is going to be 140. It's in degrees. Make sure you put the units. Now you're going to see that in quite a few different ways here, and quite often there'll be other factors involved. For example, a classic way of expressing this might include a straight line. By the way, it's not very straight, is it? And you might see a couple of other things involved here. You might see something like this, and this might be in 90 degrees. Then you might see something else coming out like this, and then you might see something else, for example, here, and this might have another 90-degree angle in there, and so on. So you might end up with something. This might be 15 degrees, for example. Let's make sure we get the arrows in the right direction. This might be 80. Well, actually, wait. What would that be? This would have to be 75. It says this would have to be 75 degrees now, yeah? In fact, let's put an X in there, yeah? It would have to be an X in there, yes? An X. And of course, you immediately know what X is because this is on a straight line. But let's say you didn't have that. Let's say instead you had this one here was, let's say, 20 degrees, 25, we'll call it 25 degrees, yeah? Here it is, 25 degrees. And we've got Y here. And you're finding out, well, what would Y be? So straight away we know what X would be because this is angles on a straight line. We know what Y would be because we've got a 90 here and a 25 here. And if we subtract the 25 and the 90 from 180, we end up with Y. So let's just, in fact, do that on the calculator so we can actually see that play out. Here it is. So we've got the first one, but again, notice it's all angles around a point. So let's actually solve for X first. Now X, for example, we know that X is going to be equal to, and we know that this is going to be 90 degrees, because if this is 90 here, this must be the supplement of the 90 here, because it's angles on a straight line. So this is going to be, in this case, these two angles together are now going to be something different. These two angles are going to be complementary. Complementary angles are angles that add to 90 degrees. So supplementary angles, are pairs of angles that add to 180 degrees. And that's supplementary angles. But complementary angles, I'll put are pairs of angles that add to 90 degrees. So here we've got a complementary pair. So we could say that X is equal to 90 minus 15. Of course, 90 minus 15 is going to be 75. Now, let's go the other way around. Of course, here we've got these two together are going to be the complement of this angle here. So complement. Now, Of course, we've also got angles around a point, so now let's do it that way. So angle Y will equal, and we've got all these angles here. We've got 2 lots of 90, so I'm going to go 2 lots of 90. In fact, let's just do it differently. I'm going to say 360 minus. Here we go. Just for a bit of fun. You could break it down much more easily, but I'm going to do angles at a point. So let's call it 360 minus, and I'm going to add them all up now. I've got 2 lots of 90. Oops. Notice I know 2 lots of 90 equals 180, but I'm just breaking it down so you can see the individual. It's 2 lots of 90 plus we've got a 25 and a 15, a 25 and a 15, and we've got our 75. And there it is. Notice I don't put the degrees in until I get to the actual final answer. So y is equal therefore to, and I'm going to do the whole thing on the calculator. Hopefully we'll get the right answer. So here we go. So we're going to end up with, here we go. So we've got 360 minus, we've got 2 lots of 90. There it is. Plus we've got a 25 and a 15 and a 75. And we end up with 65. So this here should be, y should be 65 degrees. And that kind of makes sense because the other side here, angles on a straight line, this is 90, and 90 minus 25 is going to be 65 degrees. So lots of ways of doing this. Again, it says angles at a point, add to 360, and you really do need to put in your reasons for these. Now, the next one we'll come to in a moment is the next one on this sheet. So we'll do the next one first. We'll come up to the next one on the next video.